Hi, friends. Welcome to the New Moon Gathering. It's good to see y'all. I'm hoping the chat will work so you can send me a little message, let me know that you see and hear me. That would be awesome. Turn that down. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. So this is the first in a series of New Moon gatherings. I used to do this in person and then decided it was time to get on the bandwagon of doing lives on YouTube. And I'm really excited. So I honor you for taking the time to learn a little bit about astrology and to add a really wonderful piece to your self-care practice. So I'm going to take a sip of tea. I hope you've had some time to get some hot tea going. Maybe get a few more folks on here. So I just wanted to say before we get started that I pulled a card from my Oracle deck, which I highly recommend if, oh, that might be hard to see. There we go. If you're looking for a, you know it, girl. Rose tea. You got tea steeping. I love it. Tis the season, right? So I pulled a card for us tonight for the gathering with the intention that all beings are welcome and everyone with the highest vibration of unconditional love. So then I pulled a card and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but it is, whoo, that is a light. Anyway, it's message in a bottle. So while we wait for a few more friends to come on, I just want to read this. I just think it's so beautiful and appropriate for right now. You know, I love appropriate. So the essential meaning is communication, a sign for a spontaneous oracle delivered innocently by the speaker, pointing the way to your highest good. So I just thought that was really wonderful. The prosperity message for this card is you are on target with your purpose and your passion. You are coming into alignment with your destiny, and Spirit wants you to know that you're on the right track. Expect a call, a new opportunity, or a message from an old friend or business contact that will lead you closer to your dreams and greatest desires. Spirit has been listening to you. So I really love that message. I think it's super appropriate for the times, and that goes for everyone on the call or everyone who will be listening, watching. Wow, that is bright. Okay, hold on. I think that's probably better. Okay, so welcome to the New Moon Gathering. So first things first, we're going to be discussing the energy that is associated with a new moon in Sagittarius. This will be happening on Friday, early in the morning at 2:20 a.m., Friday, December 7th. The new moon is exact at 2:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I like to hold the new moon gatherings a couple of days in advance so that we can really get prepared, really be mindful of what it is that we would like to call into our world going forward. And it just gives us a couple of days to settle in, think about what this energy is about, contemplate what the energy signature is for each new moon, and really take some time to contemplate. So we'll be doing this in 3 different parts. First, I'm going to talk about the astrology. Then we'll be talking about the HMS energy wheel, which everyone who emailed me ahead of time, you will have gotten one of those in your inbox. So I hope you've had a chance to print that out. If not, no worries, you can do that later. That's part 2. And then part 3, we'll be talking about the power of new moon intentions. So first things first, new moon, as I said, is on Friday the 7th. That's this Friday at 2:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what's so powerful about this new moon? There are a couple of things, but the first thing that you want to know is that Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and Jupiter just moved into Sagittarius at the beginning of last month. Why does that matter? That matters because Jupiter, by nature, it's the largest planet in our solar system, and it expands everything it touches. So Jupiter is in the very early degrees of Sagittarius, which is kind of where this new moon is happening. So that means that the sun and the moon and Jupiter are all kind of hanging out in this little tribe, this little gang, right? So what does that mean? That means that Jupiter's energy, which is expansive, optimistic, let's just make everything bigger, right? So that energy will be part of the signature of this new moon, which is really, really good news for everyone, but it is especially good news for all the Sagittarius people out there. So, yay for Sagittarius. Hey, Jess. It's true. It's a really big energy. Every sign gets one new moon a year, right? So we get a full moon 6 months after our birthday, and then we get a new moon in the month of our birthday. So this is when we really want to harness in our desires, our goals, our wishes, and we want to be contemplating that stuff because that's how we call in what we desire and what we want. Um, so that's the first big thing about this new moon in Sagittarius is that Jupiter is hanging out right there going, yeah, let's pump up the jam on this one, right? So that's good for everyone. It's especially good for the Sagittarius. So these are some of the themes that Sagittarius deals with. So I'm pulling out my handy dandy HMS logbook. And I'm looking at my Sagittarius. Ooh, let's see, cheat sheet. Dang, that is a bright light. Anyway, if you have your HMS logbook, I hope you brought that to the party because we'll be referencing a couple of things in here. So the themes of Sagittarius, and these are just kind of like the general broad themes: expansion, optimism, excess. Remember, Jupiter makes everything bigger, more, more, more. Freedom, exploration, personal and universal concerns, idealism, adventure, travel. These are the big ones. So we'll kind of keep it at that. So I'll remind you of these themes as we get back to part 3, which is the new moon intentions. But we just want to kind of keep that in mind. Sagittarius is a fire sign. So fire signs in general, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. That means all things fiery, okay? Creativity, playfulness, adventure, fun. This is when we have a lot of fun when we're in these signs. Um, and it's also a mutable sign. What that means is that it's really kind of more go with the flow, where a Leo fire sign is going to be very fixed and rigid, and it's this way, and this is how we're doing it. But a Sagittarius is so expansive and mutable. They're like, yeah, I can roll with that. Oh, okay, this is the way we're going. I'll roll with that. So that's another aspect of the energy of this time. That's good to know about. The constellation is the Archer, this guy, you know? And the motto of Sagittarius is I philosophize. So the Sagittarians are the big thinkers. They're contemplating all the time what to do, when to do it, what's a better way to do it. So very creative in a very mature way, typically. So that's kind of like the rundown from the fact sheet from the logbook. And more specifically, this new moon in Sagittarius is going to be dealing with these themes, and this might be good to write down if you are interested. So you'll refer back to this when you are creating your new moon intentions. Um, and let me also mention that there's another major aspect that's happening at about the same time as this new moon, and that is that Mars and Neptune are both in Pisces. So if we have Sagittarius over here, we have Pisces over here, and the planets in Sagittarius and the planets in Pisces are squaring each other. Okay. That creates a little bit of discomfort and a little bit of wah, wah, wah. Okay. Specifically because Mars is like powerful. I want to go. I want to go. And he's in this watery sign of Pisces going, geez, how do like it just, you're bogging me down, man. I want to go. I want to burn. That's the Mars energy. And so it's a little tweaked being in Pisces. And then with the sun and the moon in Sagittarius squaring Mars, then that creates a little bit of drama, maybe chaos. So because of that major aspect happening at the same time of the new moon, here is the rub. We want to really be careful, be cautious to release any negative thinking that we might be having. This energy can kind of like be a bummer in a little, in sort of, in a little bit, in a few ways. Pardon me. So this is where we want to be aware when we've got some negative energy coming up, let that go, right? Because we don't want to be focused on what we don't want during this high vibrational energy of this new moon. We only want to focus on that which we want to see more of in our lives. That's a good rule of thumb for all times, but especially for the new moon, because this new moon and any new moon is about beginnings. Let's get going. Let's get started. Let's make it happen. Let's start a project. So we really want to be mindful when we wake up Friday morning, right? That we keep our thoughts pretty pure and clean and really just focus on what we want to see more of in our existence. No matter what kind of noise may come at you on Friday, keep the back talk to a minimum. Like, and if you have to go into your story, set the timer. Don't go too long because we manifest big time at the new moon energy. That's why it's so important that we sit down and we talk about this and we like really get this in our head so that we can like roll with what we want. So instead of the negative thinking, let's really be sure to, number 2 on the list is focus on strengths and focus on the positive. So go ahead and like get your preemptive strike ready. Write down what your head chatter will be rather than the negative. Just go ahead and write down your like if you foresee some noise coming at you on Friday, get your answer ready now. Like you're forewarned. So this is what's so cool about astrology is that when we take the time to see what's coming down the pike, we really can get prepared for it, which I love. So awesome. It's super efficient. Okay, number 3, set boundaries. Big one all the time, especially now. And that has to do with that Mars Neptune energy happening over in Pisces that might, like the slings and arrows that might be coming at you. So we want to set boundaries. We want to be prepared to enforce our boundaries at this new moon time. Okay, always a good idea, a really good idea at the new moon. Number 4, pure intentions, and make sure we come from the heart. So again, these are all just really wonderful reminders for all times, anytime. But let's keep our intentions pure. Let's keep our thoughts pure. Let's keep what we're focusing on pure and make sure we come from the heart, for the highest good of all involved, dwelling in unconditional love with boundaries, right? I love 3 and 4 together. Those are, that's my Bonnie and Clyde, right? Cheers to that. Unconditional love and boundaries. Woo! All right. Widen your gaze. Yeah. Okay. Again, Jupiter is huge. It expands everything it touches. It's big. It sees it's a far-reaching gaze. So What we want to do in like kind is make sure we keep the vision not necessarily way forward, but we want to keep our vision wide. Widen your gaze. Maybe there are things about the situation that you're not familiar with or you don't know about. There might be some hidden information. So keeping an open mind with a very wide gaze is a really good idea right about now. Um, Prioritize. That's another really wonderful thing to be aware of as we head into this new moon energy, especially since this is the holiday season, because we get yanked in so many different directions. There are lots of things we have to do, and then lots of extra things we have to do. So be very clear about what your priorities are, and don't be afraid to say no. Um, feel empowered when you say no, and always do what's best for you, remembering that you have a choice. You always have a choice. And we're not going to let that noise bother us unless that's just what we really want to sign up for, right? Um, no martyrdom, no victimhood. That's another thing that can come from this Mars Neptune in Pisces square. So when we're aware of it, we can see that coming a mile away, right? So we're, oh, nope, hello, boundaries, hello, boundaries. Yeah, all right. Another big theme right now, healing, forgiveness, and letting go. And that's not necessarily a Sagittarius issue. That is a theme that is encompassing the whole entire astrology of this month, this week, especially. Your buttons might be pushed, and everyone's. We can tend to be a little frazzled right now as we head into this holiday season. So, and you might trigger. We all might be triggering a little bit more than normal. So, let's